I want to give Oussama the lead as far as when are we going to go get married. But I'd like to get married in about a month. I moved mountains to come over here. You lied to me. You want me to go back to the States?
Yep.
Awesome! On these last few episodes of The Other Way, Debbie hasn't had a lot of screen time. When we were first introduced to Debbie, we were under the impression that she was moving to Morocco to marry Oussama. But when we finally get to meet him for the first time, he doesn't have the marriage plans that Debbie is expecting. I swear they added him in skateboarding to make him seem even younger than he already is. You do have to wonder why a 24-year-old wants to marry a 67-year-old. But by first impressions, he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
I describe myself as a loner. I feel comfortable with cats.
The way he describes himself is completely opposite of Debbie, which could work.
All my art and all my works is about sadness, melancholy, misery.
But what does he expect out of her? There's been no mention of what Debbie and Oussama's plans are after they get married, except that they will be living in Morocco. And there's a lot we haven't been given details on. Like, does this guy want kids? He also doesn't have a job and works on his family farm, so are they just going to live off of her retirement forever? None of it is very clear. What he does say is that Debbie loves him for who he is and that age is just a number.
DB have that young spirit. We will understand each other. I think that this is my woman I want to stay with.
I think that we would all like to believe that these two will make it and that this story will have a happy ending. But if 90 Day Fiancé has taught us anything, it's that usually that's not the case. And Oussama reveals pretty quickly that he is already lying to Debbie. His plan for when she moves to Morocco is not the fairy tale Debbie has described.
Before me and DB get married, I need some time to know each other more in reality.
Uh-oh, so he is not ready to marry her. As much as taking things slow is the smartest way to go about this, Debbie thinks she is moving there permanently to marry Oussama as soon as possible. Geez, I'm glad she didn't sell her house yet.
Even though I'm moving to Morocco, I'm keeping my townhouse for my kids.
She is so lucky that her kids convinced her not to impulsively get rid of everything she has in the US. Debbie lands in Morocco with Oussama there waiting for her.
I miss you so much.
She's in some sort of dream trance.
I can't stop myself from staring at him and coming to him like a magnet.
But she's going to be grounded back in reality very soon. This was the only scene we got of this couple in episode 6, and it really made me start to wonder why this is all getting dragged out for so long. But I think that question gets more or less answered on episode 7. They do start out all sweet and excited in the car ride from the airport.
It's like I'm young again, and everything is bright, and the future is like for us to take and to do good with.
Aw, she really seems so hopeful.
Oussama and I plan to stay a couple of days in the capital city of Rabat.
According to her, they are supposed to get married and get an apartment after meeting his parents. We don't get to meet his parents yet, but you really have to wonder what they think of all of this. From what we understand, she is older than his parents. I'm guessing she's closer to his grandparents' age. From what he has said, his family sounds traditional. And Oussama does have some expectations from Debbie, which I don't quite understand since their relationship is not in any other way traditional.
Like cooking food in home, cleaning my clothes.
Yeah.
Something like this.
It's not a good sign that she's surprised by this.
No try for me.
Sometimes we can get takeout too.
Yeah, I understand.
And have our wine and our takeout.
I'll have takeout and wine with you, Debbie.
You can drink the wine at home.
Can we sneak it?
Oussama's religious beliefs don't allow him to drink in his home, but he can outside of his home. I think they're going to need to get Debbie a camping chair so she can sit outside with her wine.
I need a drink just thinking about it.
At this point, Debbie thinks that they are quickly visiting his parents. She must be assuming that their rules will change when they live together in their own place. The fact that she is surprised by all these new expectations that Oussama has me really thinking that this is going to go downhill.
This was never a part of the plan. You know, I don't know what I'm getting myself into in Chemisette.
And by the rate they're dragging this out, the story looks like it could have a very quick ending.
Big Ed the Fly wants to remind you to subscribe to this channel.
You're my best view.
بنتي بالرياض وشايف فهمتي بويتيك أنا غتعجب هذيك البلاصة.
They check into their 2 rooms, which is something we've seen before because of the law in Morocco. The big difference here is that Debbie is okay with the separate rooms, unlike Nicole was.
That's fine and dandy with Miss Debbie. I don't need that.
Aw, look at that. He took her to a beautiful place to give her disappointing news.
I'll be back.
Okay.
They meet for dinner, and Oussama finally reveals his very big lie. It starts with Debbie asking about the timeline for staying with Oussama's parents, and the answer she gets she was not expecting.
As you will stay like 2 months or 1 month, and after you will leave to the US.
Oh man, look at her face. Remember, she was thinking they were getting married right away.
I'd like to get married in about a month.
He's acting like this is just a visit and that she'll leave after 2 months.
I mean, we have to know each other so deeply.
Who would have thought that out of the two, the younger one would have the realistic perspective on the relationship? He's not wrong about them seeing how they get along in the same house for months, but he is wrong for lying and telling her she's moving there to get married. She had visited him before and he asked her to marry him. It seems like maybe he just got cold feet.
Why couldn't you tell me, gee, Debbie, why don't you come and I'll see if I can accept you in reality or not?
Because if I say to you this, he will not come.
Them waiting to get married really is the smartest move, but damn, now she has to go back and hear her kids say, "I told you so."
You really screwed up big time, Oussama.
He doesn't have a good explanation for lying at this point, but I'm honestly relieved that they are slowing down. Debbie is not, though.
You have the audacity to say that to me?
3 years in social media, not in reality.
So what is really happening here? It would really help to gauge the situation better if we could confirm if she was sending him money or not. If she isn't giving him money, then I would think he's just being realistic because he loves her, or he just got cold feet. But if she is giving him money, is this another Azan situation where he will just continue to take from her and then promise a marriage that will never happen? It's very hard to tell at this point. We need more information. And the fact that this has been so drawn out over episodes makes me think that this won't end well.
You lied
Because
to me.
I'm still want to marry you.
Debbie has officially come back down to reality, and now she doesn't believe anything that Oussama says. She doesn't understand his shift in behavior from their last trip in Morocco.
He was ready to marry me, rushing me to the U.S. Embassy to get the required paperwork.
So do we have some guesses on what changed? If he's not scamming her, I'm leaning towards him wanting to prove to his parents that she can be the wife he wants. If he is scamming her, I'm guessing that he isn't in a rush to marry her if she's already sending him money.
Obviously, I didn't know you as well as I thought. I feel sick, man.
I want to believe that he is a good guy. We will have to see. The only hint we get in the preview for the next episode is that Debbie doesn't just immediately head back to the US. We will have to see how this season plays out. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!